Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. And
Hey.
it is Wednesday, January 28th,
Yeah.
2026.
Day.
Firing it up now. Hump day is going down. First Sky Omaha. In the morning. Money. What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey.
Hump day. How y'all doing this morning? How you doing over there, buddy?
Man, doing all right. Feeling good. Feeling rested. Feeling like maybe we missed all the ice.
Okay.
Yeah. Which,
Glad to hear that.
hopefully I can say that in more than one way. But yeah. We're here. How you doing?
We're doing okay. Doing all right over here. It's warming up slightly. Supposed to get up to the 30s today. So
Okay.
yeah. It'll feel like
freezing.
summertime in Omaha. Right. Everybody getting their shorts and flip flops out around here.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
Yeah, but it is cold right now, so hopefully you guys are warm enough this morning. Appreciate you guys getting up. I say Leah Keister in the chat saying, "What's up, Wednesday? Hey."
Happening.
Ariel's 402 says, "Hit the like button." Might as well hit it now because you know you're gonna like it. I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, I like that. Make it hot.
Mark Manner says, "Good morning. Appreciate you getting up this morning, brother." Rosalind Boykins, what's up, cuz?
Okay.
Morning. How you doing? How you doing out there? And how's the weather out there, by the way? Because it's cold everywhere. Down south is cold. Everything is happening. What's going on in Vegas?
Brr.
No, let me know. Judy Princess gives us a good morning, First Sky fam. Good morning to you. Appreciate you.
Hey, Judy.
Ronald Harrison says, "Good morning, First Sky fam, and happy Wellness Wednesday."
Yes.
Wellness. I like the wellness. I'm trying to stay well myself.
Man.
Yeah. Let us know how you guys are doing on this hump day. I guess we got a little bit more energy on a hump day than normal. Feels like right now.
A little bit. We off to a rocket start a little bit. How you doing?
Doing okay. I've been up and down as far as sleep is concerned, but I guess I got a tad bit more last night than I normally have. So yeah. I tell you what though, I'm still kind of on that 8 o'clock move. I didn't like that 8 o'clock move. We spoke to the senators last Monday, and to accommodate their schedule, we moved the show to 8 to 10, and we kind of we took a little unofficial poll on that. Right now, it's 5 to 4 for moving to 8 o'clock. So we'll put an official poll out when we do our newsletter on Friday.
Hey.
See what you guys feel about that, because really we're asking the chat chimers, because the chat chimers are the ones that get up with us and engage in the chat. So yeah, if it's better for you to move to an 8 to 10 slot instead of a 7 to 9, let us know. We're still taking a little survey on that. But yeah. I definitely I feel the difference this morning of getting back up at 5 to get this show rolling, than being able to have that little extra hour that we had on Monday. So.
Maybe push it back. And I'm thinking of the ghost listeners too as well. Yeah, I know y'all out there. Take note. Might be pushing it back. We would ask you, what you thought, but you're a ghost listener. It's okay.
Yeah. If we was on the radio, you can listen in the car, but people are doing a lot of moving around that time. So that's kind of why we're thinking about it, but we'll get to it. RG in the chat saying, "Morning, y'all. What's happening? Rosin said, "Cold, but not near Omaha cold." You ain't lying. It's been 7 below out here this last week. You know me, I don't appreciate it. So
any trees exploding?
Y'all seen them videos of the trees exploding? It's so cold, the trees are exploding.
Man,
that's wild. RG says, "Hopefully this is the last time I'm catching y'all when I'm in the gym." Okay. We'll talk about it. Kimmer Snipes in the chat saying, "Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning." Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning. Also, Sarah Johnson in the chat says, "Hi from Minneapolis." Okay. Out there in Minneapolis.
Ground Zero.
What you doing in Ground Zero? Yeah, let us know what's happening. We know that they got a general strike coming up. Everybody's talking about right now on the 30th. Ice out. Justice for Alex Preddy and justice for Renee Good. Nationwide. They're calling for a nationwide shutdown January 30th. And then a 2 p.m. march downtown Minneapolis. So, no work, no school, no shopping. If you can swing it, guess so.
Man.
couple of businesses out here in Omaha, Nebraska, is going to do that closing on the 30th.
Okay.
Made in Omaha, both Made in Omaha shops will be closed on Friday, January 30th, in solidarity with workers and communities participating in the general strike. So we're seeing this right here in Omaha already. People deciding they're going to do that. You going to do that? Can you do that? Is the
Man,
question.
what was the impact of the last time too? Is in my mind.
I would like to see the study of the
Yeah,
last time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You know me, I'm not a fan of the 1 day strike. I don't know
Man,
how much good that can do 1 day. You know what I
I
mean?
am happy to see they're bringing it back, but we'll talk about it. Talk about
Definitely talk about it. We'll talk about a few things too. We're gonna jump into the community updates real quick
it. Hey,
while we get going. No guests today. We have too much to talk about, so we'll be in conversation. We hope you stick around for the second hour too. We really bust loose on it.
hey, I feel
Yeah,
like busting loose.
feel like busting loose. It's going down. Also, I have to say the Empowerment Network and a few other entities are putting the February edition of First Friday in the Village, and as you can see, there's going to be a whole bunch of performers there. Just be Danny Cleveland, EJ Landry, and there's going to be art exhibits, all kinds of activities. This is not a good representation of the flyer. I have to find the other one for you
Yeah.
to see everything that's going on here. But yeah, shout out to them. It's First Fridays in the Village at 24th and Lake. That's coming up February. I can't even see when it's happening.
Second?
Is it the second? Is that the first Friday?
Oh no, I don't know. The date's cut off at the bottom. I see.
Yeah,
I see. I don't
right,
know what I
right.
was looking at. I do see it's Black Love, baby. I take that.
Yeah, February edition is Black Love, baby. It's always a good thing. Black Love's always a good thing.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah, we'll be talking about that. I'll get the other flyer so we can see that a little deeper. And yeah, so that's happening. Also, something else that's coming up. Terrell McKinney, Senator Terrell McKinney, put some respect on his name.
There you
He
go.
put these out on his page. These are upcoming events that are going to be very important. The Omaha Inland Port Authority, HR&A proposal, Innovation District Plan reveal. All these are happening. Date is Tuesday, February 3rd, coming up from 6 to 8 at Metropolitan Community College, the Mule Barn, Building 21 over there on 30th Street. So these are going to be some pretty important dates here. I think we need to really keep up with these. Shout out to Senator Terrell McKinney for posting these on his page. We'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha so that you can have the reference there. But let's plan on going, man. I'm really anxious to hear about the Innovation District Plan reveal. That's what I want to see with this. We've been to a few of the Omaha Inland Port Authority meetings, but this new thing here, the district plan reveal, I can't wait to check that out. So yeah, we'll be talking about that coming up as well, and a few other things. Don't forget, we have a special guest coming on Friday. We're highly anticipating our new partners over there at Film Streams. Amanda Kephart is going to be joining us on Friday, so I'm looking forward to that conversation and
Yes,
new
yes.
partnership with what's happening with Film Streams.
Man,
Film Streams is kind of a community space. They have these films, they have the talkbacks after the films. So they bring together, they live alive with one another, bring together the community to talk about big subjects.
man.
And yeah, so shout out to the work they're doing. It really aligns with us in a big way.
Artistic resistance, man. We need it.
Love that.
Oh yeah.
Artistic
Oh yeah.
resistance. We'll talk about a little bit more about some community updates, a little bit more in the show as they come. If you have anything going on, let us know as well. We know the weekend's coming up, but there's always some important meetings that happen during the week too. So let us know. Appreciate that. Yep. Sarah Johnson said it's rough, but we're surviving. She's talking about she's out there in Minneapolis right now.
Man.
On all kinds of levels. It's cold out there too, is what I'm understanding. Super cold. Biko Kwanzaa in the chat. Good morning. Says good morning, first Omaha family. This is Kwanzaa in Philadelphia. Glad to be back on the egg in peace. Love y'all. Appreciate you.
Peace. Peace.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you hitting us up from Philly. What's going on in Philly right now?
Yeah, what's up with the Philly phonies?
Yeah, we was talking about the Black Panthers, and they had to change their name to Black Lions. This group that we've been talking about. If you missed that, then go check that out on Monday's show.
Man. Lion, all right.
Yeah, man, that's messed up. Sarah Johnson in the chat says they were so moved by our last strike that they shot Alex. Yeah, talking about results of the strike, right? Oh man, RG says I think Sweet Magnolia's Bake Shop is going to be closed on Friday too.
Okay.
Man, that's rough because they good over there.
Sweet.
Sweet Magnolias get down. Kimmer says, Paul, our new communications manager plays the saxophone. Is this going to be another First Guy Omaha kickback jam session that we setting up?
Jam, oh jam.
Shout out to One Omaha. Shout out to Kimmer Snipes and their new communication manager. Definitely a continuation of the work that they're doing.
Man.
Love to have him on the show. Get to know him too. So I appreciate that. And I got to meet him at the coffee shop, what we're calling the Black City Hall now over there at the Visitor Center. Yeah, it's going down.
Yeah.
Donnell Sessions in the chat gives us a good morning. Good morning to you guys. I really appreciate you guys getting up early on with us this morning, remembering that we're back on at 7 o'clock, because I was a little nervous that people thought we moved to 8 because of Monday. So that's only every other Monday with the Senators that we're going to do that so far. But yeah,
we just need to make it a real thing, avoid all the confusion. Just need to go ahead and do the thing.
I like 8 o'clock.
Yeah, let us know. But also join the chat. As Paul mentioned, we do have a lot to get into. It's all right with you. Dive into today's headlines. Is that all right?
Let's get it. What's the top headlines for today, Buddy the God?
Yeah, man. You kind of teed it up a little bit. It's talking about the some meetings, a meeting place, a location, the Visitor Bureau. Shout out to Brother Preston Love Jr. and the space. There was actually a meeting recently there. I'm wondering if anybody went to that. Again, a few bills. We just had the senators on Monday, still paying attention to what's going on in the legislature. The session is in full swing, and a few bills are being talked about. People are chiming up about those in the community. Shout out again to Joel Rogers, the state poet, had a meeting about LB 1050, which deals with literacy, which definitely touches on a lot of things we talk about here on the show, not just education, not just the youth, but the preschool to prison pipeline. Of course, there's a connection with that. Actually, the third grade there's a point in that. So we'll dive into that a little more as we open up the show. But a few other bills, again, follow Senator Terrell McKinney on his page, very vocal on what his office is doing and some of the bills that they're pursuing. So look out for that. Also, speaking of looking out, definitely want to talk about some of the ICE things that are going down. Big shout out to the community members, keeping an eye out. Citizen journalists. We'll be talking about that throughout today's show as well, the importance of it, and unfortunately, some of the dangers that comes with trying to let the community know what's going on. Simply just that. But again, there's a lot of hurdles in that. So big shout out to those who go over those hurdles and spread the word. Apparently word is there was some ICE activity at Douglas County Courthouse today, and we found out because of our community network. So we'll be talking about that. Also, speaking of community network, there's an Omaha man that's apparently been taken by ICE. There's a GoFundMe very close to his goal for that GoFundMe. If anybody has any updates on that situation, we'd definitely love to talk about that as well. Shout out to friend of First Guy Omaha, Farrell Pearson, for tipping us off to that situation. Also in other news, Ben Crump shared on his social media about Amir Locke, which is a very close hitting home to us. Again, Amir Locke is the cousin of Brother Sherman Wells. Put some respect on his name, and apparently there's an update with that situation as far as, again, the Supreme Court allowing the family to sue Minnesota. A few chat chimers and friends of already chiming up about what they believe is a strategy behind that, which is pretty interesting. I wanted to dive into that and more. Also, speaking of strategies, we talked about the sale of TikTok earlier this week. Took no time to roll out their censorship. At least that's what some people are calling it. The official word from TikTok is a power outage, though. So we'll read between the lines, see what you think on that situation and more. Of course, we're definitely going to continue talking about communication as in light of the TikTok situation and just social media in general. How do we get the word out? How do we communicate? How do we find out what's going on in our communities and really in our neighborhood? So again, we'll talk about that. And of course, I do want to return back to our conversation. I think it got a little heated, but I like that. A little back and forth between you and I, Paul, talking about black capitalism. And I'll be honest, I've been binging, kind of working my way through a Snowfall, which if you're familiar with that show, a lot of ideas, concepts, conversations, touch points about specifically black capitalism. But we're going to expand on that conversation throughout today. So again, we're here for the next 2 hours. If there's anything on your hearts and minds that we're not talking about, feel free to drop that into the chat. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
the word, man? What's the word?
Man, this is just want to thank everybody again for getting up early with us this morning, and we'll have a lively conversation in here. Do us a favor, share the show. If you're on Facebook, you can share that on your page. Easily done. And if you're on YouTube, do us a favor and share the link to anybody else that you think would benefit from these conversations. We'd love to have the whole community in here to have these discussions.
Yes, sir.
It's not just news dissemination, but it's also how we feel about the news, and that requires us to have you, chat chimers, people that chime into the chat, have a little discussion on these things. We usually present some of the news in the beginning hour, and the second hour is when we kind of cut loose and really get to talking about some theories and how it is that we feel about stuff that's going on in the news and what the plans are, more importantly, what we're going to do about any of these things. So it's going to be a lively conversation today. We just really encourage you to spread the word, tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, and we'll get this show on the road. In the meantime, between time, we'll take a quick break, and we'll come back and jump into the conversation. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God. This is season 4B, and follow the money is the theme. So a lot of the things that we talk about, of course, we incorporate that theme. But, you know, we realize that those themes are wrapped up in all of life.
Man.
Everything that we talk about, all the evergreen topics when it comes to housing, political power, everything that's going on, follow the money seems to be at the root of a lot of things, and that kind of ties things together sometimes when we're looking at it. But with that said, we'll go ahead and jump over to the first story. I see Wanda Lewis in the chat giving us a good morning. Appreciate you very much. Yeah. Also, Marlon Harrison in the chat says the past 72 hours have been off the chain when it comes to the whole TikTok situation. I'm glad you're paying attention. We're definitely going to talk about it. Anthony Rogers Wright is chiming in early. He says black capitalism is a null set. How can any black person thrive in an economic system that relies on extraction of white supremacy, unless, of course, you are Clarence Thomas or Hakeem Jeffries? Calling them out. We'll get into it. Stick around for the second hour when it's going to get heated on that conversation again, too. So in the meantime, what are we jumping into first, buddy? What's happening?
Actually, before we dive into the stories, I wanted to dive into some community acknowledgments. So we lost a couple of folk in the community, so I wanted to give some shout outs. Actually, one of which is a close friend, family friend, and local comedian, our brother Jabber Gold. You might have known him as Jabber Gold is actually one of the first comedians from Omaha that I know of to grace the Comic View stage. If you remember Comic View, BET, big comedy stage, big comedy platform. Jab was definitely a frequent guest on that show, but also just a well-known comedian in the community. I'm sure some of you chat chimers are familiar with brother Jabber Gold. He recently passed, so just condolences to the Drake family. And again, brother Jabber was a family friend of close friends with my father. So definitely feeling like I lost an uncle, man. Definitely rest in peace to Jabber Gold. And then also brother Ira Combs. If you're familiar, brother Ira Combs was the leader of NOAA, North Omaha Area Health Clinic, which again, shout out to brother DJ Ejiki, Eric Ejiki, who's actually the CEO now. But NOAA has been a staple in North Omaha for a while, actually, as far as helping with awareness and health. Especially as brother Marlon Harrison calls today our Wellness Wednesday. Man, if you're not familiar with NOAA, definitely check them out. Man, lost a patriarch in that family, lost a leader in the community, and definitely rest in peace to brother Ira Combs as well. If you're not familiar, or if you are friends with brother Shamari Huggins, he actually shared a pretty heartfelt message about brother Combs. I believe he was his mentor, worked closely with him at NOAA. So Again, I wanted to acknowledge those gentlemen really quickly.
Wish I had some. I didn't have the photos, but I did see on Friends of First Sky Omaha. I appreciate everybody who made some comments there, some condolences there on the post that we made on that in Friends of. So yeah, sorry to hear that. Sorry for the losses.
Man, definitely. So yeah, just wanted to start off with that, and then jump into our conversations because yeah, there's a lot to get into, a lot to unpack, and a favorite word that we'll probably be getting into on this show: nuance. If you
The running
that.
theme for 4 years.
Yeah. If you remember that word, Paul. But I wanted to actually start with a story that this isn't really a news story. I think CNN reported on it, but I haven't been able to find any updates on this. But this is something that's hitting home. Of course, all eyes are on what's going on with the ICE situation. Several areas, several layers to unpack with that. But of course, it's been hitting home. Actually, I'll start with the Douglas County situation. Again, shout out to our network, shout out to the community, shout out to our citizen journalists. Let's just call it what it is. News gang, as we're calling it here on First Sky Omaha. Again, it is a very dangerous thing to be a part of news gang, but it's necessary because, as we see, we have to rely on each other to know what's going on, which is definitely the case with this story. Again, shout out to Precious McKesson, who brought the story to our attention. But apparently this story was brought to, not even a story, I keep calling it a story, but again, it was made aware in our circles by community members. Again, apparently a lawyer was on the scene at the Douglas County Courthouse when their client was taken by ICE. And then now we are seeing it confirmed by Nebraska News Channel that, again, ICE was, in fact, active at Douglas County Courthouse, arresting 4 people to be exact. Federal immigration agents arrested 4 people, again, at the Douglas County Courthouse on Monday morning, preventing them from appearing at their scheduled criminal hearings. 3 of the defendants were facing DUI charges, and 1 was charged with a hit and run, according to a defense attorney, Robert Larson. Larson said his client had worked out a plea deal and was ready to proceed with the hearing when ICE agents detained him several minutes before the scheduled start time of his hearing. Larson, the lawyer, says, I stepped out into the courthouse lobby and spotting him all the way across the way by the front door. It appeared he was being detained. I went over to him, and one of the officers confirmed that he was with ICE. When Larson returned to the courtroom and explained the situation to the judge, his request to postpone the hearing was denied. He says, I was told that the procedures the courts are using right now is to deny the motion to continue and to put out a warrant for my client's arrest, which is interesting. If you look at the court records, it will show that my client failed to appear and a warrant was put out. The judge was aware that my client had been physically present, and the reason he wasn't in court was that he was detained by ICE. The client is now in federal custody and being taken to the federal detention center in McCook. So, as you see on your screen, the Cornhusker Clink, as they're calling it, and we'll be getting into a second. There is a GoFundMe for an Omaha man who is apparently a U.S. citizen by all accounts, who's also been detained by ICE. But before we get into all of that, just the sheer news. Of course, we talked about activity in Lincoln, and there's still some discrepancy whether or not that was just Homeland Security, which is kind of the overarching department, or ICE, which is a part of Homeland Security that was active in Lincoln. But we have now confirmation that ICE is active in the Nebraska Omaha Douglas County Courthouse. What say you, Paul?
Well, first of all, I say we had confirmation when our citizens started chiming up saying that was happening. We didn't have to wait for confirmation from nobody else on that. And Anthony Rogers Wright is kind of saying something that I'm thinking makes you wonder how ICE knew exactly when to be there. Could it be that they are coordinating with the city and the county? We talk a lot about that. There's certain states I think are trying to put forth that they're opposed to ICE or not cooperating, not working. There was incidents in California where police officers actually were grabbing ICE up in certain circumstances. So, but we always kind of wanted to know. It's been a little bit of a mystery about like how much other law enforcement has been working with ICE. And that's been a very big question here too. So yeah, that's really interesting. And then also what's running through my mind too is who's the judge? Now that
Your
I
question.
understand that you vote on these judges, I got to ask who's the judge that decided, even though the brother came to court to do what he was supposed to do with his court date, that they're going to act like he didn't come because he got detained by ICE. That's kind of that's out there.
Man, I mean, to put a warrant out for the brother.
That showed up to court. So yeah, a few things there, but yeah, shout out to the like you said. I think the point of this for us is the citizen journalism that's happening. People that are saying, even the lawyer who chimed up and said that his client just got taken. This is the only way that we really know about some of these things. So shout out to them. Shout out to the news groups that came later to cover it. But I think it's pretty clear that when we have these networks on our social media feeds talking about ISIS here, this and that is happening. Yeah, we kind of got to think about believing that a little bit and at least looking into it, at least being cautious when that happens. It's not to me. It's not about spreading the wrong information or fearful information anymore. We're all trying to have a network of informed people being informed about what's happening around us.
Man,
So, and I also think the last part of that too is that when people hear this and see this, which is probably the reason why it's been pretty quiet in the media, when people hear it and see it, they might decide they're not showing up to court. So, how is that going to adversely affect things on that end? If they're like, man, hey, if I go to that court date, then I might get arrested before I can take care of that court situation.
more warrants, which actually Flatwater did report. We haven't really talked about it, but there is a backlog on the court system. Just all of these immigration cases in general,
Oh, wow.
is causing a backlog on the court system, just in general. So very, very interesting point how this impacts the courts. Also, speaking of courts, one interesting thought in this, I was kind of looking at the comment to see what I thought, but I will toss it to the chat as far as Sheriff Aaron Hansen chiming up on this situation. He did have a comment in this article, and if you keep in mind that the Douglas County Sheriff's Department is supposed to be securing the courthouse, as far as stopping certain individuals from being taken. Of course, there's been, conversations in areas like Chicago, Minneapolis about whether or not sheriffs and local municipal police will stop and step in front of ICE situations or interfere at all. By all regards, it looks like they won't. But very interesting to hear from Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hansen, who is definitely trying to distance himself and his department from the situation. He says, we have an obligation to be present and to be in the area because we've seen around the country where these interactions with federal agents can become chaotic and dangerous. We want to make sure we are there to keep the peace and maintain the tranquility of the courthouse and keep everyone safe. But again, Aaron Hansen addressed the online comments saying his office had no involvement in the arrest. Hansen also said these operations are not daily, but are not uncommon, and his deputies will continue to be present to keep them peaceful. So what that means, I don't know, but there is also the whole, situation of the 287G contracts. If you don't know about that, the 287G contracts are contracts that have been signed throughout the nation. I believe Kansas, Missouri, a few areas in those states have again agreed to the 287G contract, which is a contract with the local law enforcement and federal law enforcement, i.e. ICE, to basically deputize them as federal ICE agents to again have a lock-in contract to assist in the snatching up of citizens, protesters, political dissidents, and whoever else they want to target. So there you go.
There you go. Tamara Dwyer in the chat. Good morning. She says he's campaigning. That's another thing we got to think about too. As soon as you said his name, I was like, speaking of which, we're working on a project called The Six to Dismiss, and we're going to be talking about some of those things. Like Anthony Rogers Wright says, election tactic. He says he has no F's except to stay in power. So we kind of, I have been wondering about why there's so much visibility and so much social media appearances. I even asked the question, like, when you got time to share when you on TV so much? Like, what's happening? The election. So I just heard this morning that there's another person that's stepping in the race. Well, no, that's for Lancaster County. So I still haven't had any information on who in Douglas County is stepping up for that position. So we'll have to try to tap in with Precious McKesson and some other folks this week to find out so that we can really dig in and start figuring that part out. Also, first of all, Heather Williams gives us a good morning, everyone. Appreciate you coming through. Anthony Rogers Wright is talking about the judge situation. He says the judge can't do anything. Look at what just happened to the judge in Wisconsin. Federal supremacy clause sucks, but it is what it is. I think that was the situation where the judge had somebody in court and was like, "Go out the back door. ICE is in front," and then they got in trouble for that. So if it is the case that this judge decided, yeah, we're just going to issue the warrants. No, we're not going to act like they showed up. Maybe they're afraid that they're going to get the backlash if they didn't. So not sure, but all I know is that I feel like if you're a judge, you could be standing up a little bit on that. So again, I'd like to know like who that is and put that in the notes when we're talking about election time, because you do have to vote on them judges as well. We talk about this every season. Every season we're like we look through all the seats that we're looking at, but how many people are familiar with the records of the judges that are on those ballots as well?
I mean, it's a reality. It's a reality because I think all of us are sensing just what this is, and the fact that this is about control and power. This is not about immigration. And, if this was about immigration, judges wouldn't have to fear for doing the right thing. You know what I mean? If this was about immigration, then you wouldn't have people in the court who are trying to go through the due process, who are trying to, acknowledge the law, even if they had a DUI and broke the law. They're trying to do right by that. They're not here illegally trying to hide from the court system. You caught them in a courthouse. So again, if this was about immigration, you wouldn't have U.S. citizens like Brother Aaron, who has a GoFundMe.
Brother Aaron.
Again, yes. This is, again, shout out to Furiel Pearson for sharing this post, as you see on your screen. Aaron, who is apparently an Omaha community member, has been detained since June, actually, by ICE. There's a GoFundMe right now. He's just about $1,500, just short of his request or his goal of $10,000. Mostly going towards living expenses and legal expenses, but again, mostly living expenses because again he can't work because he's detained, but he needs a home while he's being detained, at least to have a home to come back to, hopefully when he gets out. But again, in anticipation of lengthy and arduous detention, he has asked that we help him with his rent and monthly expenses while he is unable to work. He supports his family, friends, and community every day and now needs our support. Please donate if you can, share if you can't, and keep yourself safe most of all. There's an update on the GoFundMe page. Aaron has acquired pro bono legal representation, and his sister is also in control of the funds. They will be used to cover his rent and living expenses. Again, thank you for all the generous support. So far, we're nearly to our goal now, which again is just about $1,500 short of their $10,000 goal. But this is just another story of, U.S. citizens being detained for, by all means, exercising their right to freedom of assembly.
Yeah. Shout out to Farrell Pearson, who is a dynamic person in our community. And anytime she posts anything, is legit. As far as I'm concerned, I'm ready when she fires up for all the work that she's been doing. If you don't know about her, you should definitely look into her. But apparently, Brother Aaron Urbanski is a friend of not just her, but a few people in the community. So they've chimed up, and yeah, this is interesting that this story. I don't even remember it happening in the first place. So this is kind of like I feel like I was late to the game with this story. But definitely check that out. Dig in a little bit more. I put the GoFundMe link in the chat. You can check that out. We appreciate that. Anthony Rogers Wright says, "Y'all, Aaron is good. That is an old GoFundMe post. It's the old one." Okay, he says, "We got him the best lawyer in the state, and the charges are all but dropped." Okay, some updates. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I felt like I was a little late to the game on this one because I hadn't heard it in the beginning. So I appreciate the update there. He says, "Aaron is and has been working. Come on, y'all. We need to be more principled here." Okay. I'm not sure about what the principal comment is there for, but if he's available, we'd love to have him on and talk about that too. Oh, he says Aaron is. Oh, yeah, I just read that one. He says, "I know because I was the one who got him his lawyer, the great Dave Domina." Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Getting some info here. I appreciate that. That's what I'm saying, man. We like to bring this stuff up. We got experts and people in the chat that bringing more information on the situation. Great. Okay, so you're saying we can skip that GoFundMe? Is there a new GoFundMe link?
He's
Let me
out.
know. Yeah, he's out. Let me know if if the GoFundMe is still going. If there's a new one, appreciate that. Mama Guy in the chat says if it is about immigration, then our leaders would advance the immigration policy. There would be a lot of stuff happening if it was really
Yeah,
about immigration.
we all see who it is. I would like to speak to this Dave Demeanor. That would be interesting. Again, this is why we have this show, why we have this platform, and why this wasn't reported on more is kind of the point. But yeah, I appreciate on that, brother Anthony Rogers, right? As far as the charges being all but dropped, again, it's very interesting why you didn't hear more about that. The state being defeated on that grounds, but
That's why we're here, like you said.
yeah. And again, where is the Cornhusker Clink? Again, we didn't really get to it with the senators because there's so much going on. As far as spent a lot of time talking about education, but again, who is in the Cornhusker Clink? What's really going on with that situation? I think the governor, put out the call for about 200 people by Thanksgiving. Where is that number now? Is it towards the 300 people? And what's really going on? Again, that is the whole point as far as news gang and why we rely on this platform, community voices like yours, brother Anthony Rogers, right, and everybody in the chat, because again, we're going to need each other really figure out what's going on, and we'll continue to talk about that here. What say you, Paul?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is there is an overreaching conversation here about communication that we have to keep the pressure on. We'll get to it. But as far as the Cornhusker Clink is concerned, we know that there's 4 more in there now, straight from the courthouse, which is great.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So again, a shout out to all of those who are ground zero going into the Cornhusker Clink, going in, trying to find answers, and we will continue to be right there, trying to figure it out as well. We are kind of well into this thing. You want to take a break?
Yeah,
What you think?
yeah. Before we go to a break, I was going to jump into the chat here real quick. I see Annie Butler in the chat. Good morning, Annie Butler. Appreciate you. She says,
Hey.
love you, Sarah. Also, Ariel's 402 says, no confidence vote. Okay. Jason Whitmer in the chat.
Hey.
Getting up with us this morning. Shout out ACLU. Says, I believe the Defense Lawyers Association puts out a report on judges. Thank you. Been looking for some research material on that for sure. Also, I see somebody named PA Blog 1711. I'm a Hispanic teen future congressman. I live in the Omaha area. It breaks my heart seeing what is happening in this country immigration-wise.
Man, okay.
Man, I appreciate you coming in and voicing that. Michelle Moreno is talking about Sheriff Hansen, I'm sure, saying vote him out. Yep, I appreciate that very much as well for you to express that to us. So, yeah, there you go. I appreciate everybody that's commenting and being here in the chat with us real quick. Do us a favor, share the show if you're on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, share the link to anybody who you think would love to continue this conversation and get into it. 7:37 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, that is. When we get to the 8 o'clock hour in the second hour of this show, then we're definitely going to dig in a little bit more on how we feel about some of these things that are going on. And so, yeah, that's kind of like where the higher conversation is happening now, is on the second hour. This kind of not higher conversation, but the way we feel about what's going on with the news that's being presented in the first hour. What we can do about it is kind of where we wrap around to what kind of actions can we be taking, and how more can we move into mutual aid and organizing on the second hour as well. And that's why this overall overreaching theme of communication is going to be so important for us. We really got to talk about this because everything that's going on with TikTok, everything that's going on with Meta, and we haven't talked a lot about what's happening with Meta and what's going on with Google as well. Gmail accounts being scrubbed. There's a lot of stuff that we got to talk about, and I've been kind of diving in head first on alternative means of communication since this is our primary function here. How do we reach y'all if something goes down with some of these social media channels? And we'll definitely be talking about that in the second hour as well. But right now, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into the conversation. We got a few more items to present, and we want to hear from you on. And before we go, again, if there's anything that's standing out to you in the news right now or that's happening in our community, please put it in the chat. You can always put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha, our group page on Facebook. When we're not live, that's where the conversation goes. But yeah, please participate because that's what this is all about, outreach with the community. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God. We need a little Big Sherm. We still need to wake up a little bit on this Wednesday.
Big Sherm, fool.
It's going down. Stay tuned, y'all.
Yeah. Wake up. Wake up, 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 wake up. Wake up, 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 wake up. You better wake up from this dream. Life is not what it seems. This culture's not your reality. You better unplug or be a casualty. Cause the life that we losing, the drugging and boozing is keeping us off from our greatness. We gotta spread the love and stop hating. Then rearrange these front pages. From murder and death to building our wealth. We moving in stealth. Milking the game till there's nothing left. And teaching my people to love themselves. I'm crashing on competition. That's an interference with the mission. Man, we tired of listening, so we standing up. Unification amongst us. Wake up, 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 wake up.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Dreams of your ticket out. First guy in the morning.
In the morning.
What's happening, y'all? Paul B, Buddy the God here. Kimber Snipes in the chat saying, I think there is a hearing this week. I just happened to be going through the judiciary page on the legislature site. People looking at the judges. Y'all looking at the judges. That's what's up. She says Sharon Hansen has Senator Bostar introduce a bill around Brady Giglio. Did you guys see that? We posted we posted that in Friends. I tagged you on it, buddy, because I know you're interested in that.
Man.
Definitely trying to push back on the Brady Giglio idea, where so make it so that we can't see some of the missteps of law enforcement, the way that we need to be able to see that. So, very interesting.
Actually, speaking of missteps of law enforcement, I didn't really pull this, but kind of want to address it now at this point, as far as the shooting of Brother Alex Preddy. And how it's kind of changed the tone. You've seen they're changing ICE leadership in Minneapolis. They sent the Bovino or whatever his name is. He got shipped back to the border. They're bringing in the new guy, who's not really the new guy, who's supposed to be nicer than the old guy, but still not nice. Yeah. And apparently this is not only pressure, as Sister Sarah was saying in the chat earlier, to the general strike that took place late last week, which we'll actually be talking about the next one coming up, but also how the spin of the shooting is happening, from all accounts. The attempt to paint Brother Alex as a domestic terrorist, not going as well. Not going as well. And so again, when Sister Kimber brought up the Brady Giglio list, my mind went to all that's coming out about Mr. Bovino and how he's, by all accounts, top cop, Mr. SS himself. As far as what we've been seeing in Minneapolis, that's his brand. So again, communication is very interesting, and again, TikTok played a big role in this, as far as the other angles and videos that people have been,
studying the scene with,
dissecting, breaking down. It's so much so that's been the main reason why they can't spin this story the way they want to. And now, days later, here we have TikTok, and TikTok users are. Man, they calling it out. They wasted no time. This being reported by MSN after TikTok users complained over the weekend that they were struggling to upload videos related to ICE and Saturday's fatal shooting in Minneapolis, not to mention also reports of the word Epstein just not being able to post at all. Like, if you type the word Epstein, then you are getting flagged for the community guidelines on TikTok now. Just the word Epstein. Among other things. But as a result, TikTok has pushed back on those claims Monday, saying that the widespread disruptions or malfunctions were due to a power outage at a U.S. data center the company relies on, saying, since yesterday, we've been working to restore our services following a power outage at a U.S. data center impacting TikTok and other apps we operate. We're working with our data center partner to stabilize our service. We're sorry for the disruption and hope to resolve it soon. Also, TikTok's head of communications under its new ownership told NBC News that the worries of censorship were unfounded and that the failure was just an impact from the outage. New Post may still have lingering issues, she said, while the company works with the data center to fully restore service. So again, I don't know how a power outage, puts Epstein on the community guidelines list all of a sudden, or why certain posts that are being posted are just magically having 0 views. And if anybody knows TikTok and how the algorithm is set up, when you post, you get a boost. It's almost impossible to get 0 views on TikTok.
There's been articles and things out there talking about how they throttle and digging in behind the scenes. I guess you can use Brock. Is it the name of that? There's an AI out there that is associated with Twitter. I think it's called Brock. You can see on your Twitter. You can see your Twitter feed and see where you were throttling. I guess you can ask the AI how is my social media performing, and it'll tell you what words have been flagged, if you've been flagged, what your percentage is, how you've been throttled, and a bunch of stuff. And it's really been telling for TikTok. So they're looking. I mean, for Twitter. So they're looking for how to see that in TikTok as well, to kind of show where things have been messed up. But I kind of want to put it out there to the chat. Where have you seen? Yeah, Grok. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh,
Yeah. I want to find out from the chat because I'm inundated, overwhelmed with how much news there is out there about how TikTok has just changed. First of all, there's an army of people that are talking about like what good it did, how we've learned about what we've learned from other countries, things that's happening in other countries, where war torn countries, in really seeing people go live, which we really value here. We go live for that very reason. We don't have the kind of a podcast that we record and then present. Going live is huge, and being able to speak real time to people is huge. So when you go live, that's like you said, what happened in Minneapolis they cannot spin that narrative because there's too many cameras on that going live.
Yeah.
So they talk about what TikTok has been doing, but they also talk about now the changes, terms of service, and the changes in terms of service. Now they want to know your sexual orientation, your religious orientation, your political orientation, and a bunch of stuff. If you sign the new terms of service, then you're releasing all this information to them. You're giving them permission to use all that. So why? I see people sending me stuff all the time about how happy Trump is about this situation, and how happy he is with the Chinese president that allowed this to happen. It could have went another way, but it went this way, and I'm happy about it. We said it the other day. TikTok is done. TikTok is done. If you guys if the people that are still on TikTok, you're absolutely, you were compromised already, but you're absolutely compromised now, and they're not even going to be hiding that. So I want to hear from the chat too. Like, what have you seen as far as news is concerned about how TikTok is throttling, what it's doing, how they're tracking you through it? We've been hearing rumors about them having a connection to ICE, helping ICE track people, all the things that are happening there. Let us know. I know that Marlon Harrison is been digging deep. He's in the chat saying so a lot of people are deleting TikTok and moving to Fanbase, Instagram, and Red Note. There's a couple of other ones that people are moving to as well. As a matter of fact, there's a new one. I was going to grab that before the show and forgot. But there's a new one that somebody from Palestine put together that a bunch of people are on. Yeah, so people are also leaving in droves. They're getting off of TikTok in droves, creators anyway. Mama God says also Nome removed from leading the terrorizing of cities and sent to southern border operations. Yeah, we got to talk about Christy Nome at some point. Anthony Rogers right. TikTok is gone. The Zionists have taken it over to prevent sharing information so they can spread Zionist propaganda. TikTok did more damage to Israel than Hamas.
Man.
It's done. I truly believe that after it you got to remember, like, who this dude from Oracle is wrapped up in so much stuff.
Man,
taking over the media. We got to check it out. RG says Fanbase still lets you go live, don't they? Yeah, that was a problem. We haven't been able to go live. The reason why we didn't switch to Fanbase last year or 2 years ago even is because of that. They don't have the same kind of live functions yet. But we're working. I've sent several letters to them like, we need this.
Man, I mean, headquarters is here in Atlanta. I'm, trying to pull up. We gotta figure it out, man.
Isaac Hayes the third. We need to
man,
switch
man.
because he's adamant in all this. He's very vocal. Isaac Hayes the third that runs fan base is saying that constantly. He's like, you got to go to a platform that's not scared to let you say what you want to say on it. They don't have no jurisdiction here to come in here and be tracking you here. I'm not making no deals. So there's some stuff out there, even black-owned stuff out. Let's figure it out. We have to continue this conversation in a big way. Mark Manner in the chat says they ruined the usefulness of Twitter before the last election, and now TikTok before this one.
Yeah, I mean, you got to know it's a strategy to this, though. Like, you have to know that this is a part of the strategy. And to that point, we kind of do have to talk about the Larry Ellison of it all.
Yes.
Because it's not just social media, it's traditional media as well with the moves at CBS. And we've seen it, kind of go down with Jimmy Kimmel and the pressure that he, felt.
Right.
Just call it what it is. So just going into it, for those who don't know, again, Larry Ellison is the co-founder and chief technology officer and a top Trump ally at Oracle. Again, he is also one of the investors announced their collaboration the same day, along with changes that will be made to TikTok's algorithm and trust and safety practices. No timeline was given for those changes. Again, many TikTok users have said the sale could spell the beginning of the end of the platform, as we're talking about. And it's not just TikTok. Across social media platforms like Threads, Instagram, X, and Blue Sky, users said their political content on TikTok was getting unusually low visibility and that they had their accounts restricted or completely banned from the platform when trying to comment on ICE enforcement in Minneapolis. Not just ICE, but also anti-Israel rhetoric, anti-Trump rhetoric. Again, anything discussing Epstein, all of that has found itself on the way out, and not just, again, on TikTok, but X, Facebook. I mean, how many times has Facebook been subpoenaed, for their censoring, and how many times has, Mark Zuckerberg been brought before a jury?
Yeah.
Communication.
He's got some in the news too. I'm gonna look for it real quick. But before that, I see this post by Bernie Sanders kind of says, thanks to Trump, right-wing multi-billionaire Larry Ellison is now control the TikTok algorithm along with CBS, MTV, the Free Press, BET, CMT, Simon & Schuster, book company, Nickelodeon, Paramount Plus, Pluto TV, and more. This is what oligarchy looks like. Yeah. So the control of the media. What does this mean? First of all, they live for real. First of all, you're bombarded with a master narrative and messages if they control that. So that's the first thing. Passive viewers are getting bombarded with these messages. There's several movies out now that talk about how my parents got radicalized by Fox News because they sat in their chairs watching Fox News every day and getting institutionalized by it. This is happening on a mass scale right now. In all the channels that you think you can go to and not get that Fox News message, you are getting it. And they are also doing exactly what we talk about doing all the time too, meeting people where they're at to get you the information. This is the reason why we're on Facebook and YouTube. We try to bail on Facebook so many times, it's ridiculous, but a lot of you guys are on Facebook. So we had to use it to keep having these conversations. Well, they're getting smart and finally doing that mess now too. We got to meet people where they're at. We got to tweak their social media stuff. Elon Musk started it when he switched Twitter to X, and that was happening there. Remember before that, Donald Trump was banned from Twitter before that. Elon Musk came in and bought it, turned it to X, brought Trump back. Hot mess the whole time. RG says Oracle is a cloud service provider, and for what it's worth. What else you were saying about that? Yeah, Oracle is it's funny. I just got an ad from Oracle to switch from QuickBooks to Oracle Finance, and I was like,
nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Sean McCarthy in the chat. Larry Ellison involvement of TikTok has totally overlapped his overtaking of CBS News, but Barry White has just announced more cuts to CBS, but she's more than cool adding more conservative commentators. Yeah, CBS has been cooked for a while as well. Gail Jefferson in the chat saying, "Good morning, blessings, everyone. Appreciate you
Peace,
coming
peace,
in."
peace.
Marlon Harrison says one of my mutuals said that he's leaving at the end of the week. Talking about TikTok, he is just trying to get a lot of old videos off of TikTok before he deletes it. Yeah, we're not continuing on at TikTok ourselves either. Anthony Rogers Wright says, "Isn't it ironic that Zionists are using the name tactics as Hitler from propaganda to genocide?"
Man, we gotta stop making these Germany comparisons. Do I need to bring up the Gator bait postcards? This is American. This is America. This is not foreign. This is not like any other. This is the country we live in. And even as we're talking about this whole communication situation, like I'm thinking of tobacco companies getting sued for their advertising. I'm thinking of, you know what I mean? Like as far as the propaganda and, you know, our communication industry and system in America has been trash. It's been trash. I'm trying to find how any of this is actually anything new, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it's not new to certain groups of people like us. It's been happening this whole time. Specifically, it feels new when it's happening to everybody. But like I heard somebody say the other day, if you stop people from mistreating black women, then if they stop mistreating black women, then they'll stop mistreating everybody. Take care of the folks first that have been getting it this whole time, and you'll see a change, a shift. But that's not what's happening. You're seeing a shift in the opposite direction now. People are getting treated like we've been getting treated this whole time. It's just what it is.
I mean, the illusion is breaking at the seams. You know, you can only push this America is great, you know, and there are good things about this country. Like, I'm not completely anti-American, but we have not been honest about what this country is for ever.
Well, that's what first of all, you got to be honest about what it is before you be able to say it's great or not. Like, let's tell the truth about what it is first, and then we can say what's good and what's not good. Jason Whitmer in the chat says ICE operating just like the slave patrol.
There you go.
Straight up. 7:56 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. If you want to hear more of this kind of discussion, then this is what we kind of save for the second hour. So stay tuned after the 8 o'clock hour if you're in Omaha, Nebraska. We'll dive even more deep. There's more connections that we've been making here with a lot of things as well. So shout out to everybody who's coming in talking about this. This is something that we definitely want to talk about. I want to put the question out there to you: where do we go next when it comes to communication? So we got a lot of activists in the chat. We got a lot of activists that are ghost listeners. We got people who are organizers in the chat. We got people who are thinking in terms of when the lights go out, what do we do? So tell us, let us know. Let's figure it out. Let's have some conversation about what to do next. Where do we go next? I can give you several suggestions, like we talked about fan base as far as a platform is concerned. We have been avoiding doing like SMS texts out to you guys. I'm the one that's been pushing back on that while Buddy was kind of seeing the future on it. I was pushing back like, I don't need another text coming to my phone, but I would welcome a text coming to the phone if that's the only way I can get certain important information. Don't go down to the courthouse because the ICE is sitting down there type of information. Do we need to have a network of texts? I've deep dived on the guy who put together a guy who used to work in SMS industry put together a text situation that works on Bluetooth, so that if the internet went down, your Bluetooth to Bluetooth connections all around the network you make with everybody turning their Bluetooth on gets messages to people. There's some people in other countries that are protesting right now that are using that method. Lots of methods out there. Have you heard of some? Have you been using any? Every time something like this happens, news like TikTok happens, we get, hey, everybody's moving to Threads or whatever. And then Threads is compromised, and this happens every time we start talking about it. Shortwave radio. Thank you, Area 402. And before I would have said that was a joke. Shortwave radio. That's real.
You gotta think about it.
That's real.
Man, anything. Man, iPhone users turn on your AirDrop. Let's.
That's what I'm saying. Creative. That's what I'm saying. So, RG said, America is all right.
Just not right now.
Just not right now, right? Anyway, ham radio. Thank you, CB. I've definitely been seeing this a lot of people who are out here. Like I said, I kind of deep dive into the communications field, so I'm hearing people that there's technology now where you can be talking to people around the world on ham radio, handheld. And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people are saying if you're trying to survive, you need to have these hyper walkie talkies out here, and the whole nine. So again, we got to put it out there, and we'll talk about this in the second hour that we're coming up on. Where do we go? If we're going to meet you where you're at to get you the information, where are you at? Where are you going? And I am seeing there's a distinction between people that are passive, readers and watchers, and people that are actively putting out content, because I hear a lot of people who are frequent TikTok people that are saying nothing's really messed up for me. I watch it, but I don't content create, so I'm not seeing the back end of that.
There you go.
Yeah. So there is a distinction there, but so and that people who are content creators like us is like, okay, well, where are you watching then? We need to know where you're watching, or where you're going to watch next, or why. Where does YouTube fall into all this? YouTube is a Google company. We have to talk about this because Gmail accounts get scrubbed. So again, where you can go totally. There's already movements out there that are totally off grid in every direction. There's internet for the people that's happening right now. Yeah. Lots going on right now, and it's not mainstream. It's stuff that you still have to kind of dig in and figure out how to do. It's not convenient, but is it important for us to get past this convenience issue and have a solid place to communicate?
That's a good question. Convenience.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. 8 o'clock right now, if you believe in the concept of time. Second hour is happening right now. Stay tuned. We'll have more discussion here, and can't wait to hear from you on some of these questions and subjects, and to tie some things together as well. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B. Buddy to God. Stay tuned. Welcome back for Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God. Man, We're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. And guess what? We got more to talk about. Before we get into that, I'm still digging into this Year of the Neighbor that the mayor has put out. Yeah, okay. It's kind of interesting where he's standing on a lot of these things that he's doing and the reason why he's putting this together. We'll dig into it more and talk about it as we go. And it's going to be super interesting. This is some of the stance. I'm seeing some subtle stances being made and taken, and this is interesting. Yeah, it's going on the positive tip. Also, join us on Friday. We have special guest Amanda Kephart that's going to be joining us from Film Streams. We got a new partnership with Film Streams happening because they are really one of the third spaces out here that are bringing folks together. And, watching some very important media, very important films, having talkbacks afterwards, and really engaging with the community, living alive with one another, face-to-face, having conversations about some of the things that are going on. And lots of series that are happening here. They're partnered with UNMC, so there's health series that has been happening there. They bring on health experts to speak at the end. Lots of good community conversation going on at Film Streams, not just entertainment films. So we'll talk to her about a lot of that stuff that's happening this Friday. Yeah, man. Art soldiering on Fridays. That's what I love.
Yeah, I like how you framed it as a third space. Need the third space.
Big time, man. Art. We got one of the best art house theater systems in the country in a real way.
Big time.
Also,
man, shout out to.
Go ahead.
I just shout out to the chat chimers chiming up, but we'll jump into that. Keep going.
Yeah, we got some good. Russell.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to that, I just want to shout out to the Empowerment Network. I finally found the flyer, the right one. see it. We can see it. February 6th. Yeah, it did look like double digits, but that's because they put the 0 in front of the 6 there on that earlier flyer.
Yeah, I was looking.
February 6th, Friday. This is coming up, man. It's the February edition. It's Black Love, baby.
Hey, Black Love.
I really love this. First Fridays, of course, we have our partnerships over there at BFF First Friday in Benson. That's been very extensively happening for a while. We'll have some information on that too as well. But also, I love that we got First Friday in the Village happening, 24th and Lake, the most important black corner in Nebraska.
The Deuce.
The Deuce, man, it's going down in the Village. It's going to be a one night art exhibits, conversation, cards, letters to you, photo ops. Black Love trivia, movie nights, live music, black owned vendors. It's going down. Cover fee $25. I guess it's going to cover. I'm wondering what that's going to cover. Probably a lot of activities that you just read. But there is a QR code. We'll put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Hit that. Get down with them. It's going down First Fridays in the Village at 24th and Lake from 5:30 to 9:30 on February 6th. Definitely get down. And also, there's a couple other things that are happening too that we want to get out. This push out film is interesting. Identity Preparation Academy presents a community documentary screening and panel push out the criminalization of black girls in schools. I thought this was pretty interesting that's happening. This is going on Saturday, January 31st at the Benson Theater, 1:30 to 4 o'clock. Definitely check this out. You can go to the bensontheater.com.org and order tickets. I'm quite sure there's a little information about it. Calling all community members committed to the positive future of our girls. Come join us on Saturday, January 31st from 1:30 to 4 at Benson Theater for a powerful afternoon hosted by Identity Preparatory Academy, featuring screening of the documentary Push Out, The Criminalization of Black Girls in School by author and documentarian Dr. Monique W. Kovson, who will visit us in March and as a follow-up. Stay tuned. Also, youth wisdom from Identity Prep Youth in Action leaders, a thought-provoking panel discussion with Identity Preparatory Academy founders, youth leaders, educators, and community activators, community Q&A. Lots going on there. We'll go ahead and put that Eventbrite, that ticket link in the chat as well, or in the Friends of First Sky Omaha. You can check more information on this out. But man, while we got all this stuff going on about the criminalization of our kids, Senator McKinney in there fighting bills to make sure that babies aren't suspended and so on and so forth. This sounds like it's something that's right on time. So I definitely check this out. I haven't heard of the Identity Preparatory Academy before, but Raquel Henderson is a part of that. So that means this is something that I need to get into. For sure. The Jobinista. If she's getting down with it, then it's something to get down with. So if you know anything about Identity Preparatory Academy, let us know. Give us some cosign on that. And definitely check this film out too. So with that, we'll move on. Like Buddy said, the chat's going off. I appreciate Roscoe Wallace coming on through. Anything standing out to you, buddy, in the chat right now?
Yeah, just that. Brother Roscoe Wallace, thanks for tuning in with us. Good morning to you, brother. And he says, good morning, brothers. Minnesota killings exposed our white brothers and sisters to what we have lived under for over 400 years, and still identical tactics used, like the demonization. They called them terrorists, violent, and threatening the life of ICE. Sounds familiar.
Word.
Very familiar. Very familiar.
Shout out Jason Whitmore. You know, you're right. It's nothing but slave catching.
Man,
the tactics they're using for that. So they, and you know, people that are making those distinctions about this being kind of like Nazi Germany style. Nazi Germany got their inspiration from America, from Jim Crow, from slave catching and everything else. Is there? Anthony Rogers Rice says, would have been nice if the mayor included something for our immigrant siblings in that plan.
You talking about the
neighbors?
I believe he did. If you look closely.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there's something. There's a
November Omahans from around the world. Is that not?
Yeah, I like I said, I got to look a little deeper into the plan myself. But I am. I think it's pretty interesting that this approach. So I'm looking into this plan for sure. We'll check it out.
Yeah,
man. Josh Tagg, we haven't heard from you in a minute, man. I appreciate you coming on this morning. He says Amanda's good people. Yeah, I can't wait to have Amanda on. If you remember when Spike Lee came to town, she was the one up on stage catching all that heat from Spike. So we'll be talking to her about that on Friday as well. Shout out, appreciate that. Also, he said, and good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Marlon Harrison says, I think what really sucks is with the whole TikTok situation is that a lot of people built communities on there for the past few years, and to see all that gone is breaking a lot of people's hearts.
Yeah, man.
Isn't it the problem with, we had the same problem with Twitter. We had the same problem with MySpace. We had the same problem every time because when the oligarchs own these social media channels, we got no ownership. Fan base is one where you can build it and take it with you if you move to a different platform. So people have already addressed some of these things.
Man.
Yeah, there's a few social media channels out there that if you build with them and you decide you have to leave, you can take your whole audience with you. But
yeah, I think fan base is one of them, like you might have mentioned. But I think also that's the point. I think that's the point, to break up these communities because these are the communities that are causing the problem. These are the communities that are spreading the awareness. These are the communities that are showing up and showing out. And to some, organization, groups, individuals out there, that's an issue. That's an issue. So yeah, definitely peep that. But yeah, and that is, to your point, to your question, how do we continue these communications? How do we continue building these communities? And for us, it starts with communication. As we say, communication rules a nation. That's why, this show is called First Sky, because the first step is communicating what is going on, so we all have a general foundation to build from. So with that said, I did want to talk about the news gang of it all, because regardless of, we spread it through, to answer your question before we ended the first hour, where do we go from here? What do we do? How do we respond to what we're seeing? Obviously, our communication channels are being co-opted. Obviously, the Sinclairs of the world, the CBS Newses of the world, the mega social media platforms of the world are compromised. So what do we do? And I would say, before we get to discussing how we spread the message, how do we get the message? Citizen journalism, citizen journalists. We gonna need people on the ground, whether they spread the message by carrier pigeon, text it to somebody, send a picture, I don't know, put in a bat signal, CB radio. We don't know. The point is, somebody's going to have to be on the ground. Somebody's going to have to get the message. Somebody's going to have to get the news, which is, again, where we are kind of starting as far as our citizen journalists. And when I see things like what we saw in Minneapolis, it kind of does hit home. This is why we call it news gang, and emphasis on gang, because telling the truth, getting the information, as you see now, is gangster, because you can very well lose your life. By all accounts, Brother Peretti was out there just recording, doing what we have asked all of you to do.
Man.
Which, on as a business owner, it is something that I think about. Like, what if we did get more people responding? What if we did mobilize people on the streets? What if this does happen? How do we protect each other? We need to get the word out. This is a very necessary thing to American society, as far as citizens we trust on the ground telling the story. But how do we protect that?
Yeah. Well, like I said, we call it news gang for a reason. What do people do in communities when they need to protect themselves? They gang up. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. I mean, Brother Peretti was out there defending another woman that was standing out there filming as well. That they tried to attack. How it started.
They was pepper spraying her in the face, and he tried to step in between, put his back towards the police. They still jumped on him.
But you know what, man? And it's a shame. Somebody said in the chat earlier, look at all the cops, or all the people that jumped on him. There were several people that attacked him. Then you look at the hundreds of thousands of people in the street out there, and you're like, at some point, it's going to be 1,000 people jumped in and stopped something from happening. How's that going to look?
And that's been a conversation in the news as of late as well, as far as not just protesters defending themselves, or whether they even have the right to do that, which is an interesting thought. But also, we talked about this earlier, whether or not police, will step in, and it's just the fact that that's where we are as a country. It's just, like, we talk about it. We know that what this country is. But I mean, to really be at the point where is this where we are?
It is. And we don't talk about it much on this show because we're not trying to rile things up. But I come across information all the time and posts all the time where people are like, get them things ready.
You actually sent me a clip of brother out of Chicago, rapper Vic Mensa. Has some comments, has some thoughts. Actually, he's now ground zero. He's in Minneapolis. Actually, speaking of citizen journalists, shout out to him. If you don't follow his page, Vic Mensa, check him out. VICMENSA.
Yep, it's the brother that takes the orange off the tree and peels it while he's talking to you.
Man, speaking of artistic resistance, he's right in our lane. Cut from our own cloth. A rapper, MC, who sees what's going on and can't help but to chime up.
There you go. Speak on it.
Actually, speaking of that, I do want to get into the chat because the chat's going off. Big shout out to everybody who's still tuned in here in the second hour of First Guy Omaha in the morning, Paul.
In the morning.
Hey. But I do want to get into the black capitalism of it all. Speaking of, MCs and celebrities chiming up and things like that. Will the revolution be televised? But yeah, before we do that, I do want to jump into the chat, acknowledge the chat, because this going off. Don't want to get too far behind. A few questions being answered. Looks like brother Marlon Harrison has some more information on the Identity Prep Academy. He says it's the female version of Jesuit, which again is the Catholic school.
Okay. Angel Stark's in the chat too. Good morning to you. Long time no see. She said you should invite Darnesia Phillips. She's the founder of the academy. I was able to serve on the inaugural board, and it's great. Okay.
More information. For young ladies out there.
It's all about the cosigns there. That's what's happening. Appreciate that. Also, Marianne Williams in the chat says, someone told me the other day how ridiculous it is that ICE needs so many officers for one guy, and just look at them. Like, I mean, that's what we're talking about. And it is ridiculous, especially when you know that there's hundreds and thousands of people surrounding this situation. What's going to happen when people step in and decide more than just one person is going to jump in and be like, enough is enough. And I'm sure that they'd be very scared of that. I used to work in security in California, as a matter of fact. And I worked a soccer game one time where a couple of people started pretty much a riot next to the buses, trying to get to the soccer stars, and we were surrounded. It was only about 3 of us, and we were surrounded by people that was trying to jump on us. So, and it was just like swinging flashlights and everything, trying to get people off. So I can imagine how these scary folks out here would act. They just turn around, start trying to shoot in the crowd. We gonna see somebody shooting in the crowd once the crowd tries to chime up and stop something that's happening.
I mean, they already shot the Colombian dude in the leg.
Yeah, it's gonna be we'll see. Also in the chat, I'm seeing Ariel's 402 say there are plenty of non-lethal options on Amazon: nail guns, cement guns that have shotgun shells. Okay, yeah. I mean, as far as non-lethal stuff, I don't know. Are they looking at non-lethal? I heard one report saying that they were required to bring out tear gas and stuff like that. That's why people getting sprayed in the face so much, because they were talking about non-lethal, but they didn't kill 9 people, bro. We talking about the 2 in Minneapolis. They didn't kill 9 people so far with these efforts, and shot a bunch more. David Jr. gives us a good morning. Appreciate you. Roscoe Wallace says we need more urban survival training of our young men. Shout out to Black Agenda Alliance, our young men and women. One of the many reasons why what the brother Kasim is doing is so important. I work with our young people and often observe them and wonder, are they built to defend our communities if necessary? It's a good question. When I think about a defender, I think about Brother Kasim as well. And I think about all the tactics he uses in order to de-escalate situations and everything. Megan Malone over at Tiny House put a funny post out one time. She says, I've been bartending for a lot of years. I've seen drunk women de-escalate fights better than the ICE agents. But that's true. I've been hearing on the radio, on the feeds a lot. Training. We need more training. I think that's a diversion We don't need to talk about training. We need to talk about why they're there in the first place.
Man.
What their intent is when they're out there in the first place. What's the intent?
I mean, I think we see what the intent is. Is exactly what what it is, and there. It's no question, you've seen the posts of, have you not learned yet? Have you not learned yet? Have you not learned yet? What lesson are they trying to teach people? What is the intent? I think we all know what it is.
Yeah.
And the real question is, what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? What response do we have? And maybe this is the platform to ask the questions, but not maybe answer them. Because, again, communication is... that's what we're talking about today, and beyond is how are we organizing these efforts? I think that's the other side of the community. That's the point, of the communication. Hopefully, the result of the communication, is organizing each other.
RG in the chat says, and look, think about who's part of ICE right now. Straight up Jimmys and Joes with no training.
Man,
worse than that, bro. Proud Boys and everybody else there was a militia groups and stuff like that before taking them checks and coming in as ICE agents. So again, they got some training. What have they been training for?
Man,
I mean, think about that. Also, Anthony Rice says, comrades, the brother shot in the leg by ICE is Venezuelan. Colombian is also Bolivarian Republic, but the brother is Venezuelan.
Thank you.
Thank you for that info too. And Ariel's 402 is clarifying. He said non-lethal for home protection for those that can't or uncomfortable have lethal means. Yeah, I hear that. And yes, we can talk about how we individually protect ourselves in our homes, but I think the point too is this collective. When the power of the march, the power of people out in Minneapolis. And the drone shots of people, of the thousands of people in the streets, is powerful because it shows it's the statement saying there's more people out there that don't want what's happening. So now we got to get into, now that we see everybody's raised their hand and say we don't want this happening. Now what? To me, now what is the question? Because what's going on is a continued effort of ICE raids and things that are happening, people getting hauled off. It hasn't slowed it down. And it's been more people killed while it's going on. So, and the first part of this show, we talked about communications being tampered with, for you to get called out for your beliefs and what it is that you're about, so that they can track you. They're using social media and emails and everything else to track some of these people down. Palantir and all these other companies are providing this information or providing these programs to ICE to be able to track people down. So what's slowed down over the protests? It's not the protest that's going to stop it. The protest is us raising our hands and everybody saying, oh, looking around saying, okay, everybody doesn't want this like I don't want this. Okay, now everybody, what do we do? I'm trying to get to that question. I mean, we got to survive in the meantime, but I got to get to that question eventually as well. Say again? I
was just going through the chat. There's a few things kind of jumping out. Yeah, I'm just trying to sort out thoughts. And listen to where you're going with it, but it definitely is a question of how to navigate through this, and this is a kind of something we're having in real time. And I did want to jump on the capitalism side of it all, as far as following the money, because that plays a part in it. Do we flee? Do we stand and fight? Do we organize? Either way, you're going to need some kind of funds to do just that. And again, you're saying, from what I'm hearing, as far as the general strike, is that enough? Is that the response? What is next is your question. How are people responding? Definitely the finances.
It is a response. Like when we talk about what's next, what do we do? The first thing that looks like they're jumping to is this. First thing we do is hold the money back.
And the timing of that is interesting, because also that was supposed to be simultaneously happening around that time is a potential government shutdown, as this Congress is supposed to be, meeting and talking about whether ICE is going to get more money as well. So again, following the money, it seems like it's going to be a big theme at the end of this month. and what are the implications? What are the impacts? Just let's unpack that. And it's very layered to all of this. And excuse me, I'm trying to sort my thoughts out as we're talking about it. But I do want to go back to the chat from Brother Anthony Rogers Wright, whether or not the race side of it all. Now he says, my apologies. Okay, I don't know that white folks are just finding out. He says Mike Schwerner, Andy Goodman, Viola Luizo, Heather Heyer, John Brown. They have known for a while. More are just waking up to the truth, and it's good. He also says we're going to fight racism. Or says we're going to fight racism not with racism, but we're going to fight with solidarity. We say we're not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we're going to fight with socialism, Chairman Fred. Which again, trying to learn from the past. Those are two of the things that we have seen in the past as far as where the quote unquote freedom fighters, again, this is nothing new. We've been doing this. So where do we pick up where the fight left off? And that is kind of, those last moves as far as solidarity and socialism. Mm-hmm. But again, my thoughts on the solidarity aspect, and then we'll get to the socialism versus capitalism and the general strike and the economic, situations. But the solidarity of it is an interesting, angle of this as far as, whether or not quote unquote white folk are just now getting it. There's been some tweets, as far as who's protesting, who's out at these protests. There's some tweets I'm hearing like, okay, black folk, you proved your point. Can you come out and help us now?
First of all, is black folks not out there already?
Again, that's the question you've been asking, and I'm trying to figure it out myself. As far as again the race aspect of all of this, we've there's been comments about how the No Kings protests were more like parties, and the tension that is usually there when quote unquote people of color are present at these protests wasn't really there, and now it is. But again, that is the question that I'm trying to figure out, and we do have some people, Brother Anthony Rogers Wright, I believe, Sister Sarah, also in the chat, who were saying there in Minneapolis. What is the demographic breakdown? I am curious about this because also in social media on some of the black channels I follow, let's just call it what it is. They're saying, I'm hearing a lot of, we're staying at home.
I mean, is that actually the case though, or is that?
I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. Because again,
loud voices say stuff like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what's happening.
Well, yeah, there's been the Paul Birdsong aspect of it all. But again, the point that or the reason that I'm asking this is solidarity of it all. Mm-hmm. The solidarity of it all. Is this really enough? Has America really reached the point of it's like, okay, black people, we care about what y'all been saying. Let's actually, is this real? Is this a point of real solidarity? Is this going to lead us to a point of real solidarity, or is it just, oh, this is happening to us, and once it stops happening, once we go back to business as usual, will it be okay?
Well, we got an example of that happened in 2020. This just went down. So COVID hit, and right as George Floyd protests were in effect, and a lot of white folks that couldn't go to work because of COVID came out, and I talked to them. A lot of my friends, like specifically, were like, we always cared. We just were going about our lives, and now that we got time off, then we're out here. Just okay. You probably need to work out coming out. Not just coming out when it's convenient, right? Right. And then COVID stopped, and everybody went back to work, and a lot of that stuff slowed down. So, but to me, when you got a camera focusing down on Minneapolis and you're seeing tens of thousands of people in the street, I think ideologically it is a moment of solidarity. The question of the solidarity doesn't really turn to anything until you figure out what you're doing next. Now that everybody has raised their hand and say we all agree this is messed up. Now, do we all agree on what to do about it? Is the next question. What is there to do? And the solidarity comes in when we agree on that part. So I'm not sure yet about the solidarity of any of that. If history tells me anything, there is none. We just happen to, but we could be jumping on some right now just because it happens to be happening to everybody right now instead of just us. So a moment of like, oh, it's happening to us too. Okay, well, I guess the enemy of my enemy is your enemy, or whatever, however you say it,
Right.
For the moment until, things got to get back comfortable for folks. But,
Right.
do we need complete and total solidarity to seize the moment?
It's a good question. I do appreciate the chats. Again, Brother Anthony Rogers Wright, who is on the front lines right now in Minneapolis. He says there are plenty of black folk in the streets of Minnesota. They just aren't centering themselves by being all up in the news, stories that focus on them instead of the moment that is much larger than them. Okay, appreciate that.
He also, when we asked that question before, he said it's a response, talking about the marches, but not a long-term solution unless it's an actual general strike. There's no such thing as one-day strike. Strikes last until the demands of the masses are met. Thank you for saying that.
Right.
The Montgomery with the bus boycotts lasted for more than one day. It lasted for more than a year.
Man.
This is what I have to say about those one-day strikes. I mean, I'm down to keep. This to me is us raising our hands. Says yes, we're going to demonstrate that we're all in solidarity on this issue by us doing this on this day. It's still just a signal that we're in solidarity. That's all that is. Here, like I said earlier, there's a business in Omaha called Made in Omaha. Both their shops will be closed on Friday, January 30th, in solidarity with workers and communities participating in the general strike. So it's a show of solidarity. It's a little small active show of solidarity. It's not working to get demands done yet. Because a general strike to get you to until the demands are met is longer than a day. Like Anthony Rogers Wright is just saying. That's not it. We're not to that point yet where there's something happening there where we're all deciding on what we need to do about getting our demands met. Wanda Lewis says Sarah Johnson's been on the front line too. Yep, she was in the chat earlier.
Yeah,
said she was right out there.
So yeah, if you're still in the chat, Sarah, we'd definitely love to hear your take on what you're seeing out there on the front lines, who you're seeing out there, and what is it? Is it a real feeling of solidarity out there? I really want to know.
I got some really, really close friends and people that I even call family out in Minneapolis. And yes, and they happen. A lot of them happen to be white, and they have absolutely chimed up over Renee Good, the killing there. There is something to be said for hitting close to home in your own personal community. You can have empathy. You can understand what's going on in other communities. You can be confused sometimes about what you can do about that because it's other people's fight sometimes. But when it becomes your fight, there's something to be said about that too. I can't take anything away from the friends that decided to go out there on the street because now white folks is getting shot and killed out here. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And also there's a few, nuances in this. One being just the general makeup of Minnesota and Minneapolis. I mean, there's not much black people, to begin with. It's not Atlanta. Let's just say that, so
Atlanta.
Right. So, there is that part of it. But, I am trying to get a general sense of the national pulse. As a nation, where are we going? That is the general question. What are we doing as a nation? That is the nagging question in my soul. Like, what are we doing? Trying to make sense of all of this. Where are we going as a nation? And does this, mean solidarity is my question. And I appreciate what you're asking. Like, what does that look like? I think we are reaching a point like, okay, nobody's safe from this. This is, we all can be victimized by this machine that we're seeing. But what does that look like? What happens next? What does that mean? And for me, also before I get to that, I do want to also acknowledge what Brother Anthony Rogers Wright is saying about Minneapolis specifically in the fight that they've been having. Speaking of solidarity between the police, he says again, what you're seeing in Minneapolis is not spontaneous, but the result of decades of organizing infrastructure. So again, as far as solidarity, organizing, and things like that, has already been the case in Minnesota. So I did want to point that out. You know, that might not be the case in other communities.
Of course, I mean, you know, within a few blocks of each other, George Floyd.
Right.
They with all the organizing, there's still people getting killed out there, and what's happening there. After George Floyd, they burned the police station down. So there's been some efforts for sure, but
yeah,
what has it resulted in, right?
Yeah, and I guess ultimately that's my question. I was looking for Brother Marlon Harrison's comment, which is where I'm going, because there is this sentiment as well. He says people are still asleep at the wheel. Too many white people don't want to give up their power and privilege. And I guess that's, you know, the ultimate conversation as far as solidarity between quote unquote races in this nation, and what does that look like moving forward? We got to get to that point.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, you know, like it was stated kind of earlier, if we don't all figure out how to get together, then, you know, if we don't all get together, then there's not even really the numbers to be able to battle. But like ideologically, we are. I think most of the country is showing that out. You know, everybody's in the streets in Minneapolis right now, but I remember us reporting on everybody being in the streets in L.A. when this went down. In California, it was really going. There was some serious battling happening out there for when it fired up. Then it moved to D.C. And now it's in Minneapolis. So the whole country. I mean, all these quote unquote democratic states that are getting all this all this extra love from the administration. Is what we see is people coming out in droves with this ideal that this shouldn't be happening and we need to stop it for all of us. Mm-hmm. Action, though. What is the action that needs to be taken? People, you know, I think that, you know, we got people. I feel like we got people in the chat that would take more radical action than just going out on protests. And what does radical action look like, and how does it get stomped down, and what does it mean to signal to everybody that we're all on the same page, but then don't have a plan to do anything about it? I'd like to learn more about that. If there is more information to be learned about the movements in Minneapolis that have been put together for decades, like Anthony Rogers Wright is saying, what does that look like as far as how they battle what's happening? Because to me, they ain't making no more progress than they made in L.A. from what it looks like from a distance. Maybe there is something else happening that I'm not quite sure of, not sure. But I mean, the point is, until we decide like what is to be done and agree on that, the solidarity issue to me is null until we figure that part out. Because we'll disagree on like how we're going to go about this. Marlon Harrison is bringing back to the elections. You know, that's been something that's been going on here. This is election season for us. We're putting some information out there on who's trying to get into the seats that we feel like need to be vacated by the people that are messing things up right now, and who's going to go next and vet them. And as soon as somebody chimes up, Anthony Rogers Wright will chime up and be like, what's your opinion on this? What do you think on that? Because we need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, it takes me back to the lanes of change that we've been working on as well. Political power is one of the lanes of change. Economic power is one of the lanes of change. All these lanes have to be in solidarity together. All these actions have to move together in order for us to make any difference. Mm-hmm. So again, I think that's the reason behind stuff like this boycott that's happening on January 30th. Sure, I'm down to not work, not go to school, and not shop on that one day. It's not going to inconvenience me too much to do that for a day. And it'll result in a show of solidarity with everybody else that's doing it. Cool, but is that going to stop people from getting killed in the street by ICE?
It's a good question. I mean, them losing their budget might help, you know, block that. But then
we ain't talking about the Democrats voting to give them more money.
Yeah. So I mean, but that we are talking about that now. You know what I mean? And I think you are right. I think there is a lot more solidarity than is being presented in the master narrative, if you will. And you know, I am hearing some of that as far as regardless if you're conservative or liberal or what have you. You know, I think in general people agree on some of the basic things like universal health care and you know minimum wage and you know assistance with families and child care and things like that. Yes, those things seem to be more agreed upon than not. So with that said, and I do agree as far as the showing in Minneapolis, the thousands of people, possibly tens of thousands of people in the street in the general strike. Do you think more people will get behind this national general strike that's being called on the 30th? Do you think this is the way? Because those are two of the things that I'm hearing as far as a response from the people in this moment is one, economics, general strikes, and two, as Brother Marlon is saying, electoral politics. Political power and financial power. Are those the two lanes that you're seeing the people going through? And do you think there's enough solidarity to make those lanes work?
We'll go to a break and come back and talk about that a little bit more. I see people in the chat. Annie Butler in the chat. I appreciate you chiming up. She says, I think the topic of convenience is really important to keep at the top of the conversation. This isn't convenient. So what convenience or privileges are we, myself included, willing to give up to save lives? For real. She also says Sarah potentially lost her job yesterday. Activity here. So there you go. Yeah, interesting. Anthony Rogers Rice says the book, The Minneapolis Reckoning, is an excellent book on the history of organizing in Minneapolis. Cool. The Minnesota Reckoning. Right on. We'll definitely put that on the book list for sure. Yeah, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and jump back into it. Thank you guys for sticking around for the second hour and having this lively conversation about that. I do want to get to us figuring out a few things with the rest of the show. The last 20 minutes of the show, I would like to keep putting this question out there. Where are you as far as where we meet you at with information? We have to bring in this idea that because of all this news with TikTok and TikTok basically being dead for creators, and it brings back up this ongoing question of where do we communicate when it all gets shut down? What do we do? How do we communicate? Where have you guys seen alternative ways to do that? Because we got to kind of figure that out. We have to continue to look at that. The one way that we're going to be able to organize and have any solidarity at all is to keep communicating, which is why we keep doing this show. But we'll do it for as long as we can. We never know, man. Every day I wake up thinking they might come in here and shut the show down. They have algorithms that mute the show when we play any kind of music that is copywritten music. When are they gonna start muting us because we said the word Palestine or something in the show? When is that coming? Because that's coming on TikTok. When is it coming here on YouTube? When is it coming here on Facebook? Meta is in the news again for Zuckerberg working with the administration. When is that coming? I don't know the answers to these questions. We'll talk about it when we get back, though. Stay tuned. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He is Buddy to God. And yes, we appreciate all you guys coming on through. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all.
Hey.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all.
Hey.
These buttons. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God.
Hey.
All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, and monitoring spirits. Those of you that are checking us out and have no intent on engaging, but just is trying to get ammo to troll us.
We see you. We see you.
Don't forget, Friday we have Amanda Kephart coming in from Film Streams. We got a new partnership happening with them where we're going to talk about a lot of the films that got coming in, because they have very important films and series and things that are happening where they have talkbacks after the fact, and they really are using this beautiful art house theater, two theaters, to be a third space and bring people together and have these deep conversations about some of the things that are happening as well. Show some solidarity when you're sitting in the room with actual folks, face to face, and understanding what's going on in your world together. So that's what that's about, and that's right up our alley. Is what we're doing here in a big way with our what we call our digital neighborhood association. That's what we're doing with you, who we call the chat chimers, the regular folks that come back and chime into the chat for these discussions. We actually have a better chat than any other chat around, because we do know each other. We're treating the chat as if we speak face to face to each other, and that keeps the trolling and everything down to a very, very, very small minimum, hardly at all, when it comes to our chat. So I would really just want to acknowledge that, and I appreciate the chat. I appreciate everybody's thoughtful comments and contributions here,
Man.
and going along with our style on that. We use the chat as if we're speaking face to face. So thank you for continuing to do that and bringing all the great information. We're all learning together as well. It's a journey. So thank you. We appreciate that very much. I see Anthony Rogers Wright and Marlon Harrison talking back and forth to each other on that. Cool. Let's definitely keep the conversations going all the way around. Appreciate that. RG, I see you said essential workers. What were you talking about earlier that I missed with essential workers? Yeah, we'll have to come back to that.
Yeah, I missed that comment as well.
Mm-hmm. Meantime, 8:45. If you believe in the concept of time, we got about 15 more minutes left in the show, buddy. What's on your mind?
Yeah, as we wrap it up, I want to get into the following the money of it all. A few comments before we went into break. I want to acknowledge, especially Annie Butler's comment about a convenience. I think that is I agree, a big part of this conversation when we're talking about solidarity. We're talking about, how do we move forward, what to do next, and whether or not, especially this general strike, is really going to have an impact. And again, convenience is a big thing. How much are you willing to inconvenience your life for this? And when I was kind of going on about solidarity earlier, that was kind of what I was looking for. What does solidarity look like? And it does look, kind of, as you mentioned, less like protesting on a Saturday when you happen to be off work, to giving up some of that privilege, to getting uncomfortable in this community. And one of the ways to do that is your pockets. A general strike, what does that look like, or what does that mean, and what's the impact of that? And again, do you, not just you, Paul, but the general people out there, is a general strike enough? And how long do you think the people will be willing to stand firm? And what are the demands really? Is a further question. Are you just asking for people to get out of ICE, or for ICE to get out of Minnesota? Are we asking for the budget to be discussed? As I mentioned, and shout out to Anthony Rogers Wright, giving us some insight on that and how the big beautiful bill played a role. Again, locking in ICE's budget at $29 million. He says until 2029. They were also designated quote unquote expected workers, the same category as TSA. I think that's what Brother RG was saying, essential workers. Okay. So yeah, they were also designated essential workers, the same category as TSA. And again, as I mentioned, there is at the end of this month, right when the general strike is supposed to happen, there's a possible discussion from the Congress about Trump's request to escalate and inflate that budget from the $29 million up to billion up to $35 billion. The Trump administration has set lofty goals for ICE, according to this MSNBC NPR article, aiming to deport 1 million people each year. And the One Big Beautiful Bill also allocates $45 billion for ICE to expand its immigration detention system. Homeland Security Kristi Noem said, Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem said last June that the agency will be able to hold up to 100,000 people in custody daily. So again, how do we block it? How do we help some of this? Again, to Anthony Rogers' right point, they can't lose their budget, but not getting that extra 14 or so billion dollars might be a wrench in the plan.
Interesting. Yeah. I appreciate that. This is season 4B, Follow the Money, and we definitely have to include that conversation in with this because that is the case. We talked a little while back about some of the programs that have been taken away, help for people that have been taken away, organizations that has been shut down by this administration. A lot of that money has gone to paying for ICE. We reported on a lot of the bonuses that ICE is supposed to be getting to join. One of the reasons why the Proud Boys and a lot of those guys have joined too, because they are able to do what they want to do with ICE while getting a nice check from it. A lot of people they've been out there bragging about how much money they're making. And then, of course, we didn't talk about this when it happened the other day, but a lot of Democratic members, people in the Democratic Party, helped vote for more money for ICE, which was a very unfortunate situation as well. So, how does that money get stopped? If money is a way, if monetary power is a way to stop what's going on, then what do we do to take care of that? I know that there's voting involved. There's people that we need to talk to that are voting in these situations. Seems like they're all on the administration's side right now. But it's something to think about because that is the reason why this is happening. It could be because it's being funded. It's being funded, and so and if you're going to try to stop it through holding back, what's going to happen? These general strikes and the things that they're talking about doing here on the 30th, this general strike in particular, they're saying no work, no school, no shopping. They're trying to hit the major corporations' pocketbook with that. I mean, like I said, I got to keep reiterating. I don't know what they're going to do with a day of it. It needs to be more than one day. But the whole point is that if you put the pressure on the corporations, they'll put the pressure on the politicians that are bought by these corporations, and maybe that will stop money going to these programs like ICE. Again, a direct follow the money or take the money away. I'm not seeing how that is possible with the current administration, but I guess in a roundabout way, if you put the pressure on the oligarchs in the corporations, that they'll put the pressure on for them to stop. I mean, it is one thing that Trump responds to is money. He considers himself a businessman. If the business deal is bad, he'll get out of it no matter how he's looking when he does it. So, is that the strategy? Is that the plan? It's a good question. Gwen, while you think about that, Gwen Easter gives us a good morning. Appreciate you coming in this morning. Also, Marvin Harrison says people have been boycotting Target for a year now, and you see how that's going. I heard Target is sending out coupons and trying to do special sales to get the customers back into their stores. My real question is Target, they boycotted Target because they took the DEI policy away. But there's things that are more important that Target was doing, like funding this administration. Have they stopped doing that? Have they stopped doing that? Not sure. David Jr. in the chat, good morning, says there needs to be a counter to their funding and find a way to fund these people who oppose it. So that's another part of this thing. How do we fund the movement to oppose? Is that where that money should go? Not sure.
Which is kind of where I guess we end off this conversation as far as the black capitalism of it all. And where does the funding come from for the quote unquote resistance? And I only say, black capitalism because that's my perspective as a black person. Right. How do we navigate as a people through this? And that is all very nuanced. But as I mentioned earlier, learning from the past. We talked about Chairman Fred and the Rainbow Coalition and some of the movements of the civil rights era, and the little known, or I guess little discussed part of it as far as the celebrities funding some of that stuff, and where the money for that movement came from, and can that be replicated, or is that the idea, or should we be thinking about something else? And this is definitely a response to what Anthony Rogers Wright is saying in the chat about black capitalism. He says too many black people in Omaha don't want to give up their privilege. How are we going to call out white folk with all the same black poverty pimps that have been in power for years and decades? Which is interesting. Paul, you sent me a video talking about black capitalism and when certain voices that the community per se, like the Killer Mikes, Kendrick Lamars of the world, view as radical or view as kind of on the cutting edge of the resistance, if you will, as far as just speaking and being representative of, going against the grain per se, but they themselves being a part of this, system of capitalism. And the conversation that you and I were having as far as, is that really the avenue to buy into the system of black capitalism or just capitalism in general, to fund our way out of it, or something else?
Well, and just like that, Buddy's gone. I don't know what happened there.
Well, can you hear me?
Are you back?
Not sure what that was about, but I'm here.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? Y'all good?
Yeah.
All
and
right,
I see the chat. Okay, we're good.
Financial power is one of the lanes.
Yes.
Nobody can do anything in poverty. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The bottom is eating and shelter, and the second one is protection. So, I can't take anything away from anybody who is in this country and in this system. We got to start from a place of, can you put gas in your car to drive to Minneapolis? Can you take time off of work? Can you jeopardize your job and your livelihood? Do you have the means to do that in order to protest? It ain't cheap to protest either. It's not cheap. It's not cheap to try to push and make some change, because just how we will try to pinch their pockets with a boycott. They can. There's articles I'm reading right now about people going in and messing with your credit cards and stuff like that. Now the government, they can easily go in and cut off your funds, or put you in jail, or make some kind of move that would mess up your whole situation. Political financial power has to be a thing. It has to be a thing. Now, how we get to that, I'm not sure. If you're in this country, in this society, under capitalism, I guess that having some money is how you can battle some things. Those who have money, are they battling? You know what I'm saying? These are still some real questions here. And no matter how much money you have, you still got to have the solidarity. You still got to have the numbers to organize. But in this world of, almost, not even almost oligarchy now, like in the 60s, there was some people that had a whole bunch of money, but not like these doggone almost trillionaires now. Mm-hmm. The gap is so much greater between haves and the have-nots now than it was back then when they were fighting that. It's crazy. So how do you do that without that? I'm trying to look in the chat and see if we see anybody here that got some answers on that particular questions. Anthony Rogers Rice says it would be one thing if the strike was happening during holiday shopping season. End of January is down a month for revenue anyway. Who hurts there when we do that anyway? It's also a question I come up with. Ariel's 402 says hit the like button and put Ice-T in your top 5. Hey. RG says Target's strategy to get back to the black dollar was what you'd expect. Yeah, they started serving hot fried chicken.
I did hear about that.
Target is hurting. Their Target CEOs ain't getting as much money as they got last year, but Target's all right.
Yeah, I don't think Target's going to be closing their doors tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, like, that's the point, though. The general strike, is that going to close down stores? Is that is that really the answer? Is that?
It's just, to me, it's just a raising of the hand and saying, here, look how many of us want this to change. So please go make a change. That's what the majority of people, I feel like, are doing. And then there's another group of people over here that's thinking like I'm thinking, like, we want this to change, so now we got to do something to make this change.
And that's kind of in this last 2 minutes where my mind is, and we'll continue to talk about this throughout this season. But as far as black capitalism and whether or not we should continue to take jobs where we can't say what we want. One particular, for example, Victor Wembanyama, who's a NBA star right now. He's a French national, and he was recently asked about his thoughts on what's going on in this country, and he just flat out said, what do you say? For me to say what I truly feel is too costly for me right now, so I'll just keep my mouth shut. And you think about the trouble that Kyrie Irving had in recent years about his comments about Israel and Semitism and Palestine and things like that. And again, is also another celebrity who's been very vocal about the realities of celebrity and not the chains of capitalism. Jaylen Brown, who's a basketball player for the Boston Celtics. He's actually now one of the highest paid. Signed one of the largest contracts in NBA history with the Boston Celtics. But he's, again, another celebrity who's very vocal about the realities of capitalism and the idea, even in my own self, the idea that, and again, I mentioned to you, Paul, before the show, I've been watching Snowfall. So that's kind of where my mind is, getting into this game, playing this capitalism game in order to extract funds, in order to potentially give back to your people. Is that a route? I think of like Step and Fetch It and, some of the entertainers who might be shucking and jiving on the screen, but what are they doing behind the scenes? And is that still a strategy to combat all this that we're dealing with in this country? Also, I'm hearing whispers about Kai Cenat and Desi Banks and some of the other content creators and where their money is coming from. I'm hearing ties to Mossad and things like that. So again, black capitalism playing the game, is that also a means to get out of this?
We're going to go ahead and wrap this. It is 9 o'clock. I appreciate us going there. We'll continue this conversation as we go. For one thing, I'm sitting here right now thinking about how quiet Prince was on a whole bunch of issues. Prince did two things. Prince, it's coming out now after Prince passed away about how many things he funded, how many families he helped, Trayvon Martin's family, so on and so forth, that you never heard nothing about because he never wanted the credit. He kept quiet, and he used his wealth to do some things. And if he had anything to say about it, he put it in the song. It was just like, hey, I'm just singing a song. That's all, and stay quiet. So, yeah, is there a strategy in that? There's some things to definitely talk about there. Ariel's 402 in the chat says defunding the gov looks like not getting a tax refund back. Stop giving them extra money to use and adjust your return and get zero or pay money back to them. It's interesting that you're saying that because I'm hearing people are desperately saying, you don't like where your tax dollars are going. Let's boycott taxes. Let's boycott paying taxes. You're gonna have me up in jail.
Hey, solidarity, convenience. What are you willing to sacrifice?
That's the point. The point is that if enough millions of people did that, then everybody would be in trouble. But it would be a war in the streets. Marion Williams says the big ugly bill gave ICE in New York, like $75 billion over 4 years. Bills can be passed to take it away or give it to them over 30 years instead of 4. Government takes money from departments and programs all the time.
Yeah.
Annie Butler in the chat is saying, right, can the Omaha philanthropy community step in to provide paychecks during a strike for those that can't afford to participate or individuals who have the means to pay for one neighbor? I have a little experience that I have when it comes to the philanthropy or situation out here. They're under pressure as well. They can't necessarily. There's a whole lot of folks that come and talk to us on the low, like, hey, we want to help you do this stuff, but we don't say that we're helping you. We got to be quiet about it. Because their stuff is in jeopardy too. So that's absolutely it. RG says, I figure Wembanyama would have more latitude to speak his mind since Greg Popovich is still an executive with the Spurs and didn't bite his tongue whatsoever when he was the head coach.
Yeah.
Different persuasions, or is it? Are we talking about the same? We talking about some black folks here, or what? I don't know.
Yeah, Wembanyama was I'm not sure his nationality. I know
him, but I was asking about Popovich.
Greg Popovich is a European man. you know,
Right. Right. He
quote
can
unquote
speak
white
his
man.
mind. That was my point. He can speak his mind.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Right. Right.
and you know, Greg Popovich ain't paying all the Wembanyama's checks. That's the point. Nike
And
might have something to say.
and also my point is speaking out the thing to do all the time. Because I'm looking at speaking out as signaling to everybody this is where we stand. Now we're in solidarity there. But the solidarity really comes after the looking around saying, do you agree? Do you agree? You agree? All right. Now what are we doing next?
Right.
If we can solidify on the action next, now we're in solidarity. It doesn't. The other thing is the signaling. The second thing is solidarity. Wanda Lewis says, I've disabled my location before due to implementing my freedom of speech and knew a select few wouldn't agree with. We do it all the time there. So there you go. And also RG says, and fellas, there's another thing. At some point, you move from speaking out to acting out on the front lines, behind the scenes, both. Speaking is only going to get so much traction before action is needed. My point.
And that's a good final point on this. You know, even in the Wembanyama situation, I kind of threw out step and fetch it as well. You know, some people might, and you know, this has been my response to even what we're seeing from Mayor Ewing, and some people saying that they want him to be more vocal, and you know, some people might view the year of the neighbor as kind of a passive response. And my feeling is you can't really fault anybody on how they're responding in this era. But what is the strategy? Like, even if, you know, somebody is on, you know, TV or social media shucking and jiving and not being vocal on their platform, what are they doing behind the scenes? Can that person or individual still be used to raise funds to it? You know what I mean? Like, what's the strategy here?
Bro,
is the real question.
That's it. And I like I said, as far as I know foundations that are out here that are helping people with millions of dollars that are not saying nothing and won't let us report on it because they are saying, well, our efforts will get thwarted if they know that we're doing these things. So some strategy is what we're talking about here in a big way. We're going to get out of here. It's already 5 minutes after our agreed upon time. We appreciate you guys sticking around past the agreement for these last little bits of the show. This is what happens when you get into some good conversation about some stuff, though. We'll continue the conversation as we move on throughout the season. Don't forget, Friday, we have Amanda Kephart who's going to come through. We got a new film streams partnership that's happening. And this is going to be the first conversation we're going to have with someone from there. And you remember her. She was the one that took all that heat from Spike Lee just recently up at the up at the event at the Holland Center. So yeah, we'll be talking to her on Friday. Stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned for First Friday. There's a couple First Fridays that are partners of ours. This is one, the Empowerment Network's First Friday in the Village at 24th and Lake. It's going down, the February edition. It's Black Love, baby. Definitely check it out. Actually going to try to get somebody from one of the music groups on the show, maybe Just Be or somebody, Danny Cleveland, and we can talk about what's happening there. But also our partners over there at BFF in Benson, January 1st Friday is happening January 2nd. Benson Creative District is going down Benson First Friday. Of course, they always have great shows and great events and stuff going on over there, and all the galleries, all the places that you can go see art and participate. Definitely check that out. Benson First Friday. I love thinking about a Friday night where I can kind of hop around to some of these First Fridays and see what's happening. We'll get back to this. We talked about TikTok, but I didn't show you this here. But this, if you're ready to go, get out of TikTok because it's dead. How to bypass their terms of service in order to delete your account. You got to turn your phone on airplane mode first. Open up TikTok. Go to your profile. Turn airplane mode off. Go into settings. Scroll down. Delete your account. And go through the prompts to permanently delete the account.
Man,
so, yeah,
you gotta do all that.
Got to do some things because you're automatically signed up to the terms of service, which is giving you all your information, giving them permission to take all that information that they want from you to continue on. So right, so where I see these things all the time on how to make these moves, and that's just what it is. So we gotta continue and talk about it. Also, we didn't get a chance to talk about it this show. But you know, it's hot in Minneapolis right now. It's hot. Man tackled after spraying an unknown liquid on Representative Ilhan Omar during a Minneapolis town hall. He had some liquid in a needle, and he went up and sprayed emptied out the syringe on her. Man. She's fine. She's fine. She didn't miss the beat. She said she's not going to be intimidated. But this is what's happening. attacks.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, her son was also caught up by ICE.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I have to.
Man,
Somali raids.
got to get out of here, man. Annie Boaston, 100%. For 3 hours on a Friday.
They love it. They love that 3 hours.
Yeah, we always are going past, creeping up on them 3 hours. Josh Tex says, "Great show, gentlemen. Man, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, appreciate you. I haven't seen your name for a while, so I appreciate you coming on through here as well, man. Thank you very much for that. And also, Marianne Williams says, "Great show, First Guy. Thank you. Wanda Lewis says, "Try to get Sarah Johnson on the show. That's a good idea.
Definitely.
Sarah, if you're still here, we would love to speak to you. Boots on the ground. As a matter of fact, we got a few folks from Omaha up there. Anthony Rogers Wright's in Minneapolis as well. And I've also talked to, like I said, I got some friends and people that I even call family in Minneapolis. I was thinking about trying to get on the show and hear what's going on firsthand right there and just feel it out. But I am also spending my energy keeping an eye on what's going on in Omaha, because even though the sensational stuff that's happening right now, sensational stuff is happening in Minneapolis. There's also trucks. There's also brand new trucks getting sent to Atlanta, ICE trucks, and of course you see they're just rolling up on the courthouse, taking people into the Cornhusker clink around here. So we got to keep our eye out on all of it, and we encourage you to keep doing that. So that's where I stand on that, buddy. You got some words for the people?
Yeah, man. I do want to, and not just part itself, just acknowledge just a few small mistakes. I definitely want to say the brother that was shot in the leg in Minneapolis, I mentioned he was Venezuelan, or I mentioned he was Colombian. He was Venezuelan. Thanks for that correction. And just thanks for keeping us honest, chat. Again, we're here to have the conversation with you all, and hopefully we created more clarity than confusion, and gave you a little more food for thought for the day. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you, more importantly, for joining us as always right here on First Guy Omaha in the morning, Paul B.
In the morning.
Hey. Again, catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here. Also, look out Friday for our weekly wrap. It is going down again. Still putting out the question. Later start time. What you think? 8 o'clock? Let us know. Yeah. So in the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
Take it away, man.
I like the 8 to 10 myself. I'm just y'all know right now. 8 to 10 got my vote. Currently it's 5-4. Everybody's liking the 8 to 10, but there's a lot of people coming up behind, still loving the 7 to 9. Let us know. We'll put that on a survey on the weekly wrap on Friday as well. Hey. And don't forget, Friday, Amanda Kephart from Film Streams is coming and joining us as well. So appreciate that very much. Appreciate your participation here. In honor of Josh Tagg being in the show right now, I got to play his track. Remember that?
North Omaha.
Come on, Josh Tagg.
In Atlanta, Georgia. Paul B. Buddy the guy. Star Trek Rich laying in the cut.
Laying in the cut.
Your week started out right on Monday. Wednesday's got Michelle soapboxing away. And if you believe in the concept of time, it always flies right on by on Friday, talking First Guy in the morning.
If somebody else got a drop, send it. Come to Death Row.
Hey, thank you.
One love to this community. The three agreeos are what's happening.
Hey.
Thank you for all that you do.
There you go. We're gonna get out of here, man. Appreciate you, Josh Tagg. Man, if anybody else got a drop they want to do for First Guy Omaha, let us know. We love that. We play that from time to time, man. Just reminisce about the three agreeos. Man. Miss Michelle Trosclair, miss all the team, but I love all of you that's been here since the beginning with us, and even before the beginning, minus old days, radio days. That means you've been around for 7-8 years, doing this with us, bro.
That's some time. We found now.
Or you said just a man and his guitar. I heard that. Appreciate you guys coming through. Shout out to the Umaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Very, very great discussion. Very great participation in the chat today. Man. Great information. Really appreciate that very much. Appreciate you hanging with us this whole time. Let's keep on following the money and taking care of each other and staying warm and figuring it out, man. We're not outnumbered. We're out organized. Let's get organized and take care of some things around here, namely each other in a big way. With that, we'll see you on Friday. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the Red